Hey, what's up everyone? Today we're going to be going over a redstone delay circuit from this video. We're going to be answering a question from the comments section on that video. Here it is. Eugen, I don't know if I butchered your name or not. I apologize for that, but they say, okay, so I need a little redstone help. How do I make a command block go off when it is 3 minutes after nighttime? I understand that I use daylight sensor, but I don't know the rest. Can you help? Well, absolutely, we'll help you with that. So let's go over here, explain this real quick. I'll explain this in the short run so you can get an idea. If you're a quick learner, then you can just take this and run with it. And if you need a little bit more explanation, we'll build this from scratch and explain everything on the way. So here's your daylight sensor set to nighttime, and it's considered nighttime right now, even though the sun looks like it is still providing light. Either way, redstone signal comes into here. The module actually starts on this block. So it starts with a block, ends with a comparator. Each module here is 1 minute. So we have 1 minute, 2 minute, 3 minute, and then we have a redstone repeater out the front, and this is acting as our command block right here. Each module inside the hopper clock has 64, 64, 32. And on this comparator hopper, we have 64, 64, and 30. Each of our forward-facing comparators are in subtraction mode. Then we have composters and carpet on top of all the hoppers to prevent hopper lag. And that is pretty much the delay circuit for the short version. For the long version, we will rebuild this from scratch. We'll do a daylight sensor set to day for this one, just so you can see how it's built. So we have a solid redstone signal coming in. Apparently right now it is set to both day and night. I don't know how that happens, but as you can see, there's a redstone signal coming out of this one and this one, and I don't see the sun anywhere. So apparently in the game, I've run into this a couple times. Apparently in the game there is a point where it's both daytime and nighttime, which is pretty interesting to me. So we have our first block of the circuit. We have a hopper clock right here. These will be pointed into each other, and on this side right here. By the way, I'm building this a mirrored version of this, so it's gonna be exact opposite. So we'll have our comparator in the front. At the end of the day, what you want to have is your redstone block, hopper clock, and then the comparator in the front of that. Whichever side you decide to put your hopper clock on, you could do it like this. You could do hopper clock right here. Whoops. Hopper clock right here. So you have the arrows pointed that way. So you can look at the little nozzles on here. Essentially, however you have it set, you have one facing forward, and then you go over to the hopper that's next to it, and just put it in front, but facing into the other comparator. You'll have a hopper pointed into the back of that comparator. So if you look over here, it's the same way. It's just mirrored. And then we'll do our composters on top and our carpet. Set that one to subtraction mode. Carpet on top of that. And then we'll just repeat that process 3 more times. And then we'll come back and fill in all the hoppers with the required amount of items. Take our comparator, put it right there. Then we'll do our composters and carpet. Over here for the last one. Oh, make sure it's set to subtraction mode. Those are all set to subtraction mode. And we'll do that right there. All right, so that is 3 comparators. That circuit is, the length of the circuit is done. Just gotta put these here, and then we'll put a repeater out the front, and we'll do the command block as requested. And we'll say, hey, we'll set this to time set daytime. This finally goes off. What we'll do here though is we'll knock this redstone signal out of there. So we'll get it all set up first, and then we'll watch it work. Yeah. So inside the hopper clock, what you want to do is take an item that's stackable to 64. And we're going to use, so don't use signs or ender pearls. You want to use items that are, like I said, stackable to 64. So in the hopper clock, we're going to use 64, 64, 32. So just in one of these 2 hoppers, it doesn't matter which one you put it in. Whichever one has the redstone torch behind it, that's the one you want to put it in so it doesn't move. I'll show you, if you put it in this one, 64, 64, 32. It'll just end up moving to this one anyway. So do 64, 64, 32. And this one will do 64, 64, and 30. So the sideways comparator, the hopper behind that, 64, 64, 30. We'll repeat that process. I wonder if I can just copy this MBT data like so. No, that doesn't work. Okay. 64, 64, 32. And over here, we'll do 64, 64, 30. One more time. Over here, 64, 64, 32. And right here, we'll do, get the 30 ready. 64, 64, 30. And that is that. So it is, so once redstone torch 2, 3, all of our comparators are set to subtraction mode. All of our comparator hoppers have a signal coming out of it. Looks good. All we gotta do is connect the circuit back up. It is, where is the sun? That's what I wanna know, the sun. Obviously it's nighttime, so time set. Let's do night. That's still turned on for some reason. Let's do time set day. I do not know where the sun is, but that is weird. If anybody can answer that question for me in the comments, that'd be super helpful. I don't know why it is partially daytime, partially nighttime. Oh, there's the sun right there. That's weird. Okay, that finally turned off. That's interesting. It's both daytime and nighttime at certain parts of the game. So one thing I did want to note in this video is that as the sun goes down, I did figure it out. As the sun goes down or the sun comes up, the daylight sensors will actually, they act as a, they have a varying signal that comes out. So the less, since this is set to nighttime, the less signal, the less sun that comes through, the more of a redstone signal it puts out. So at this point, you'll have to determine at what point do you want the sun to go down. So the sun is below the horizon. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 spaces of redstone. If you want the delay circuit to go off as soon as the sun goes below the horizon, that's what you want. You want 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So you want 7 behind here. So we can do 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, something like this maybe. And then it'll start going off. That way it's still kind of daytime. There's still some daylight coming through here. As you can see, there's still some daylight coming through as this is set to daytime. So it all has to do with the daylight nighttime cycle to determine whether or not there's going to be redstone signal coming out of it. Think of it like a comparator that has its own power source, which is the sun. So sunlight comes in here and you receive a variable signal depending on what the sunlight strength is. That answers that question. Sorry for that, for not knowing that, but I just did a little bit of experimenting and found out that this produces, it's not just a straight full redstone signal. It varies depending on where the sun is in the sky, and whether it's becoming nighttime or if it's becoming daytime. Just wanted to add a little tidbit in there. So if you want the sun to be just setting, where the sun signal starts getting weaker, you can put this closer with less redstone in between. But if you want the sun, you want it to go down and be below the horizon, you want to extend this out and give it some more space between the actual circuit and the daylight sensor. It is completely nighttime right now, so there's 1, 2, 3, 4, all the way up to 11. I don't think it gets any stronger than that. Because the full redstone signal is like what, 15? Yeah, 15. So it doesn't get the full 15, but it does get pretty strong up to 11. So if we do the time set midnight, it's still not 15. So the max it puts out is an 11. So you can go up to 11 spaces. That's when the sun completely disappears and the sky is completely dark. So something you can add to your redstone circuitry if you want. Just thought I'd throw it in there. Again, if you end up using this, I'd still like to see it on your redstone build for your daylight cycle management. Just want to throw that little tidbit in there. So when we do this right here, I'll put a time lapse on this. We'll do this is gonna set it back to what? We want it set today. So we'll have it set to nighttime. We'll kill this one right here. So we'll set this up. We'll make it midnight, and then after 3 minutes of midnight, we'll watch this time lapse 3 minutes worth into these circuits going off. You'll see the first redstone torch turn off. A minute later, second one will turn off. A minute later, third one will turn off, and then it will fire off the command block. A total of 3 minutes. So we'll do a time set midnight. Here we go. Time lapse begins now. So that is the 3 minutes of delay for this redstone circuit. We want to point out that whenever this redstone signal here is cut off, it takes a couple game ticks, which is not very long at all, for this signal out here to go away. So once we kill this redstone signal, let's just say it just got set back to daytime, which would kill this redstone signal here. This all gets turned off within a matter of a second. So then that allows everything in here. Like for example, this hopper clock, all items will get transferred back to here in about a minute. Same thing over here in about a minute. So luckily though, it takes 1 minute together, not 1 minute and then an extra minute and an extra minute as the redstone signal goes off when there is daylight sensor power, but they all transfer back together. So in about 1 minute, the entire circuit will be reset. So that's just something that's good to know in case you're going to use this for daylight cycle management. And that is it for this video, guys. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up and subscribe. I do stream on Twitch during the week. Times vary because the internet service provider is still not the greatest, so it all depends on bandwidth. But I'd be glad to hear some of your thoughts and some of ideas for redstone builds. Be sure to leave those in the comments. If you need some tweaks done to this one, or maybe some other just completely different builds done, I'd be glad to try to make those for you. And I would like to see what you guys are building in your Minecraft world. So if you have a video you made and you say, hey Linux, I built your redstone circuit, here's what I'm using it for, I would be glad to check that out. Just make sure you put a link to that video in the comments. Say, hey, I used your video, here's what I did. That'd be super awesome. I'll be glad to check it out and probably even host it in one of my videos. That'd be super awesome. Do a little collaboration or something. But that is it for this video, guys. Link to my channels are in the description. If you could stop by, that'd be super awesome. But until then, we will take care, and we'll see you in the next video.
Thank you.